Okay, we're doing it. We're back. We're covering section 1 in this chord chemistry series by Ted Greene. We're covering fingerboard, chart, and string relationships. And I appreciate all of the enthusiasm for this series. We don't want to get any detail left behind, but I've got to tell you the next two sections, section 1 today and section 2 the next session, are definitely going to be like bringing gear. You know, we're going to be trudging through the tundra, hauling gear and getting, to base camp. We're going in and we're going to set up camp, and it's going to be a little bit of work. If you don't have the book, you can grab it in the link in the description, or you can grab it in a card right here. And any purchases you make through any links on this channel help our channel. So thank you very much in advance. And we just want to make sure we're not leaving any detail behind. We're all on the same ground. We're starting at the same place through the book. So without further ado, we'll just start with the fingerboard, chart, and string relationships. The term open string refers to the sound the string makes when no fingers are placed on the neck or fingerboard, right? So example, here's like no fingers placed on the neck. So we're all pretty much understanding what open string means, no frets. Assuming the guitar is in tune, the sound of the strings are as indicated on the chart to the left in the book, or if you're watching along now, you'll find that on screen at this moment. In between F and G, G and A and B, C and D, and D and E, the notes are written as flats: G flat, A flat, B flat, D flat, and E flat. These same notes could also be called F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C sharp, D sharp. Notice that also that every letter name is on every string at least once. Every letter name is on every string at least once. And eventually, if not already, you will find it advantageous to know the names of the notes on the neck. Seems reasonable. This seems to be quite a task for most people, but they can be memorized pretty easily if a systematic approach is used. So here's the systematic approach. We're going to use this systematic approach to gain access across the neck like you've never seen. Here we go. Number 1, you must memorize the string names. Okay, you must. E, A, D, G, B, E. If you have any cool names or acronyms or mnemonics to help us along with that, you can feel free to please leave those in the comments below, and we'll take a look and I'll have a laugh. Number 2, notice that the notes on the 1st and 6th strings are always the same letter names on identical frets if in standard tuning. For example, E and E. Both of the strings have the same name. They're 2 octaves apart, but if I move to fret number 1, I'm on F. And then fret number 4 is G flat or G sharp, right? Or A flat. A. So important stuff to know. Number 3. Next, notice that the notes on the 5th fret, with the exception of the 3rd string, which uses the 4th fret for it, are the same as the open string notes on the next higher string. The 1st string is the highest, and the 6th string is the lowest, right? Lowest in pitch. For example, on the 5th fret on the low E string is an A. So we'll use our chart, or our trusty chart, E, F, G flat, G, A flat. So we're looking for an A note, right? That's the same as the open A on the, right? Open A, and the same as the fret 5 on the E string. These notes on the 5th fret, 3rd string, 4th fret, will be called the first reference points. So we'll go through and just name these. A, and then D, and then D, and then fret 5 on the D is G, and then G, and then fret 4 on the G is B, and then open B. Fret 5 on the B string is E, which is the same as the open high E string. Number 4, the notes on the 12th fret are the same letter names as the open strings, but an octave higher. And the notes starting from the 13th fret are identical to the notes starting from the 1st fret, but an octave higher. In other words, the same letter name notes are 12 frets apart on the same string. The notes on the 12th fret will be called the second reference point. So for example, open E will be up an octave on fret number 12. A will be up an octave on fret 12. Okay, so we have that understood. If we have a fret number 1 here, which is an F, we can add 12 frets to it, so that makes 13. That will also be an F. G, G, 12 frets higher. So any note down here, just add 12 frets and you have an octave on that same string. So let's say D. We have 12 frets plus 5 plus 12 is 17. So another D note on the same string. 5, with just those 2 reference points, it's easy to find any note on any string. Let's take an example. Try to find F sharp on every string. Starting with the 6th string, the reference points are A and E. So we had the reference points back here on fret 5, and then we have fret 12. Try to find an F sharp on every string. Starting with the 6th string, the reference points are A and E. So A and E. Ask yourself if F sharp is closer to A or E in the alphabet. It's closer to E, right? Counting up from E, E, F, G flat, or F sharp, right? Same thing, F sharp. On the 14th fret, let's see, on the 14th fret, remember, we climb up an octave, remembering that the notes above the 12th fret have the same letter names as the notes 12 frets lower. So on fret 14, you will find an F sharp note. Following this system of thought for the 5th string, you start with your reference points D and A. So let's find an F sharp on the A string, or the 5th string. D note here, and an A note here. So I know that if I'm on a D note here, I can climb up D, E flat, E, F, right, and then F sharp or G flat. And if I come down from A, I can just come down A flat, G, and then G flat or F sharp. So those are really, that's the method. That's the method we're going to use to find notes across the neck. Following this system of thought for the 5th string, you start with your reference points D and A. Well, F sharp's pretty close to both D and A in the alphabet. So remember, the musical alphabet only goes up to G sharp, and then you have A again. So you could count back from A, which we did already, or count up from D and find F sharp on the 9th fret, and then an octave higher, add 12 frets on fret number 21, assuming your guitar has that many frets. And you could now continue and find F sharp on all other strings in the same manner. And let's do one more. Let's just choose the G string. And I know that I've got a 4th fret on the G string as a first reference point. That's a B note. So I've got a G up here. So I know if I come down a half step based on the chart, or a G flat is the same as F sharp, I know that I can find an F sharp there. And then I don't have that 24th, 23rd fret, but you get the idea, an octave higher. So there's one F sharp that I can play on the G string on this guitar. And with 15 minutes a day of practicing this system, arbitrarily picking any note and trying to find it on all the strings, you should start to get the picture of the neck in your mind in just a short time. It just takes a little bit of repetition though. Just find a note. Let's play find the note on every string and do it for 15 minutes a day, which is great. If you don't have the book, you can grab it in the link in the description, or you can grab it in a card right here. And any purchases you make through any links on this channel help our channel. So thank you very much in advance. Yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. And I look forward to seeing you in part 3, chord reference charts explanation. And until that time, happy picking.